Yeah.
It's here.
Okay.
Train and back. Like the riskiest time. Like.
All right, we're live here, so we're at Chaf Aleph Amud Beis 21b. We're in the middle of a discussion. So we're going to point out to clarify again. So, as I mentioned yesterday, the minimum times the candles have to last is a half an hour, and Shabbos 15 minutes. That's in accordance with the most lenient opinion. But to get better, you make it last longer so that it lasts half an hour onto the latest time of when menorah could be lit. The latest time when the beginning to light the menorah is, which would have been all the way at nightfall. Okay, so it's longer candles Friday night. Okay, so yesterday we discussed the dispute between Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel. And the dispute is whether or not let's back up. There are 3 levels to fulfilling the mitzvah. The basic mitzvah, light 1 candle per household. Second level, 1 candle per household, per person. Level 3, Beis Shamai, you light in decreasing measure, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beis Hillel, increasing measure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we noted the dispute between Tosfos and the Rambam as to whether or not level 3 is a continuation from level 2 or continuation from level 1. In Tosfos' view, level 3 is a continuation from level 1. That is to say, if you're going to do the menorah either 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then it's only 1 per household, considering that the objective is to demonstrate the amount of days that have come and gone. Then it's best to have 1 menorah because you have multiple people lighting 2 candles on day 2, then it could look like it's day number 8 because you have 4 people in the house. So it caused a problem. And we also noted that Rambam disagrees, and that's the halacha, that number 3 is a continuation of number 2, and that each individual member of the household would do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In halacha, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's considering that we follow Hillel. And we explained that even if you're of the view that the objective of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is to demonstrate the amount of days, that is alleviated by the fact that each person has a separate menorah, indicating that it's day 1 out of day 8, considering that it's sitting on a big candelabra. Even if it's not sitting on a candelabra, you should still do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 per person per household, and not to worry about the messed up look that we're not sure what number of day it is, because as we're going to learn, there is another reason for why we would go 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, not necessarily just for not only for the reasons of indicating the day, but also for the reasons of, in holiness we always increase. And therefore, if yesterday every member of the household did 1, today every member of the household does 2, notwithstanding the fact that it may not look like it's not day number 2 to the person outside. And this itself is one way of explaining the machlokes between Tosfos and Rambam. Tosfos is of the view that the primary objective for the increase or decrease is to demonstrate the number. If that's the case, stick it to 1 person, so it's clear on the number. Whereas Rambam and Halacha would say the primary reason, not the only, but the primary reason for why would you go increase or decrease is not to indicate the day, but that's the second issue. Primarily, it's because of the importance of, in Hillel's view, increasing in general, and in Shammai's view, decreasing in general, and thus it doesn't matter how many people are doing it, as long as you're increasing and decreasing, depending on which view you are, and because we are Hillel, we're going to increase. And that's what we're going to learn today. The 2 reasons for what's behind the dispute between Shammai and Hillel. And those 2 reasons play out in the dispute between Tosfos and Rambam, as explained by many of the commentaries. Sidebar, I'll plug this. My father did a class yesterday, 2 days ago, getting very in-depth and all the halachic nuances of different ways of understanding this dispute between Hillel and Shammai. And he concludes with a Hasidic explanation, very, very beautiful, gets into intricate cases. For example, a person who on day 1 lit 1 candle, 4 people in the household, each person lit 1 candle. Day number 2, they only had 4 candles in the house, so each lit 1. Day number 3, now they have more candles. How much should they light? Should each member of the household light 3 candles? Because it's day number 3. Or should each person in the household only light 2? Because we're going an increase. And you made an increase since yesterday, even though it's not day number 2. That'll again come down to our discussion today as to what's the reason for Shammai and Hillel. Is the reason for Shammai and Hillel just for the idea of increasing or decreasing? Or is it to indicate the number of the day, the number of today's day? That would change in various different halachic situations, and my father gets into it in very big detail based on a talk from the Rabbi. So I definitely recommend having a look at that class. It's on our YouTube channel, and I'll put it in the link of the description here.
Next, my question is that how old is someone to be counted as that you should let them know in the household? Because it's saying everyone in the household, but
The halachic adult is at 13 for a man and 12 for a girl, but certainly there's an idea of education and start early. My son tells me they learned in school that in a household where the custom is that the women don't light, some households the women do light, other households women don't. In Chabad, women don't. They light their mitzvahs together with their husbands. And so he said he learned in school, I don't know where his source is, but I assume his teacher has a source, that if the mother isn't lighting, then the daughters shouldn't either, even for their education, because it's disrespectful to the mother, and it's part of their education they should learn. Mommy's not lighting, I don't light either, it's not respectful. Interesting thing I never heard before. Yeah, what do you say, Robert? Publicizing the miracles by the very fact that you have lights. Another element of that is to indicate what day of the Chanukah it is. No, but even if you light one candle every day, as for the basic mitzvah, you'd still be publicizing the miracle. Just you wouldn't be fulfilling the mitzvah in the optimal manner, but you'll still be publicizing the miracle. The miracle is publicized by the fact that you have a candle burning. Right? Okay, sorry? That's correct. To beautify the mitzvah, you're also indicating the day. Or, as we'll see, not necessarily for indication of the day, just for the idea of increase and decrease, as we'll learn momentarily.
I kind of thought the indicating of the day discussion is about, so as not to confuse the passers-by when you have them all in a series.
That's in one view. As one learned that was
the whole.
That's in one view. There's another view that indicating the day to the passerby is irrelevant. What's relevant is that you're either increasing or decreasing. Should you want to do the mahadran, should you want to do the best mahadran, minimum, should you want to do the optimal way. Level 3. Okay, so let's look at those two reasons. Omar Ullah, the line starts with the word v'hoilech, it's about halfway through the page, and the second word is Omar Ullah. Omar Ullah states, Pligi batrei amaroi, two sages of the Gemara era disputed, B'marov in the west. The west, of course, is Israel, considering that we are in the east, in Bavel and Babylonia. We as in the redactors of the Gemara. Rabbi Yossi bar Abin, Rabbi Yossi bar Zvida. So Rabbi Yossi son of Abin and Rabbi Yossi son of Zvida were disputing in the west. I just occurred to me right now, just interesting historical note. These people both lived in the west, so their names are Hebrew in nature, Yossi. It's a derivative of Yosef. But their fathers' names are clearly not Hebrew names. Abin and Zvida are not Hebrew names. They sound more Aramaic. Even though living in Israel. And it would make sense because Jews were in Babylonia before they came to Israel. Or in Persia, which preceded Babylonia, before Babylonia was Babylonia. Some 400 years earlier. And they're under Roman occupations. Maybe they have other influences. And before that, they were under Greek occupation, so other influences. It's just interesting historical note that their fathers' names are not Hebrew, even though they're from Israel. Okay, so they're disputing in Israel as to what is the nature of the dispute between Shamai and Hillel. Chad Amar, one of the two said, time of the Beis Shammai, that the reason for Beis Shammai's Keneged Yaman and Echnasa is to indicate how many days are still left. 8 days left, so that's why on day 1 you light 8. Day 2, there's 7 days left, you light 7 candles. And 6, 5, and so on. Thus, the primary reason for Shammai in going in decreased number is to indicate the number of the day. But he does so in the potential manner, to use the Rebbe's language borrowing from Rabbi Yosef Engel. Also famous talk, which actually my father's teaching also on Sunday mornings, explaining various different disputes between in all the Talmud, disputes between Shammai and Hillel, and what the common theme between all of them is, based on a famous Rabbi Yosef Engel and others. Okay, so Shammai is saying we have to indicate the days, but the potential days, how many days are left? But for time of the Beis Hillel, the reason for Beis Hillel is also to indicate the days, but to tell us how many we have earned, to indicate the days that have passed. So today is the first night, so it's only one day we have, like one candle. Today's day 2, we only have 2 days, thus 2 candles and so on. So do you consider the potential for days, and therefore it's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or do you consider the actual days that you have, and therefore it's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? On day 1, you have in potential 8 days to follow. On day 2, you only have the potential for 7 days. In other words, potential as in to say that which is coming, versus actual, that which already has happened.
Potential not meaning it may or may not happen.
No, yes, potential as in, okay,
It will happen.
yes, potential as in it will happen, but it's in its potential state, not in its actual state yet.
In terms of the oil,
Sorry?
in terms of the oil, and the oil, the first time was 8 days potential in oil itself, and it had chance for 8 days of the Shamai, and as it was going down, so
You're taking the miracle. At the miracle, there was 8 days of potential on day 1,
in the oil itself.
versus how many days already happened. So not just the day of Chanukah, but
Hillel saying what's actually happened, what you actually lived, the first
Yeah.
one, and then 2 days or 3 days. So they look at the actual, the oil or the.
correct, same idea.
Somebody,
Similar, you're talking about the days versus the oil. Same idea. The bottom line is that in this,
is it what's already potential oil, what's actually burnt into the oil?
right. So all to say though that in this view, the primary consideration is, the primary reason for this special level of lighting in accordance with the numbers, either an increase or decreasing measure, is to indicate the day of Chanukah. Which means if for whatever reason you only had 1 candle, and on day 1 you lit 1 candle because that's all you had, that's all you need. Day 2 you only had 1 candle, so you lit 1 candle. Day 3 you only had 1 candle, so you lit 1 candle. Day 4 all of a sudden new candles arrive for you. How many should you light on day 4? In Beis Hillel's view, you should light 4 that day, because you have to indicate the day that you want to go to the best level, and you want to indicate how many days have passed, and 4 days have passed. And same thing with Shamai. You want to indicate how many are coming. Actually, you do 5. You do 5 candles because there's still 5 more days to come.
Yeah, that's why they never meet.
Because it's an even number, so you never meet. If it was an odd number, they would meet.
5 and 4, 4 and 5, they will meet.
Okay, so that's one way of understanding the dispute between Shamai and Hillel. The Chad Amar, the other one says, the other of the two, either Rabbi Yossi bar Abba and Rabbi Yossi bar Zida in the west, in Eretz Yisrael, Chad Amar, the other one says, time with the Shamai, the reason for Shamai is Keneged Parei Achag, is corresponding to the oxen of the holiday of Sukkot. In the holiday of Sukkot, the Jewish people would bring a total of 70 oxen. Each ox in honor or in merit of another nation of the world. And they would do so in decreasing measure. Day number 1, 15 oxen, 13. Day number 2, 12, 11, etc. So here we see that there's a value in decreasing number. Thus, says Shammai, here too, decrease. What's the intrinsic connection between Chanukah and these oxen? Chanukah, as we learned, is meant to light up the night, light up the darkness, light up the world around us. And likewise, these oxen are meant to be the merit of the nations, the world around us. So we see that when you're engaging in the world, as it were, you slowly decrease, perhaps decreasing, I haven't seen this written anywhere, but perhaps, because as you bring light to the world around you, there's less resistance, and thus you decrease.
Decreasing negativity of the knowledge of the light.
Or decreasing their slowly decreasing their opposition. Yeah?
That's same with the Chanukah as well.
It's correct. So we're doing it for the nations of the world if we decrease, and likewise the Chanukah, we're affecting the world around, we go decrease. This is Shammai. But time of Beis Hillel, but the reason of Hillel is, no. One has to always increase in holiness and never decrease. Your candles are holy. It's true it might be to light up the world around you. And it's true that the objective is to engage the world around you, and from that perspective, go decrease. But your lights are holy. And because they're holy, they should be always on an increasing measure. Now let's go in this view.
That's why I'm couldn't find where the source is, but explain that 13th of December refers to the decrease of the non-Jews. That's Beis Shammai's view. And Beis Hillel's view, the Jewish point of view, we're increasing Kedusha. What's the machlokes? Should man be created or not? Machlokes.
Should what?
Man should be created or not. According to Beis Shammai, no, it's more inclined to sin.
Yeah.
They look more than
Actually, Rebbe connects this also to the potential versus actual also.
And Beis Hillel says, no, man's already been created, we have
Yeah.
to do that.
Rebbe also connects this, Rebbe connects this to the potential versus actual as well. In other sense. At any rate, okay, so now let's look at this from a halachic perspective. If on day 1 you had 1 candle, you lit 1 candle. Day 2 you only had 1 candle, you lit 2 candles. You lit 1 candle because you only had 1. So you did the basic mitzvah. Day 3 you also only had 1 candle. So you did the basic mitzvah and did 1 candle. And now you have more candles. How many should you light? Following Hillel's view, because that's the halacha. How many should you light now?
Or how many, what day is it?
It's day number 4. And day 3, day 2, and day 1, you only did 1 candle. How many should you light to fulfill the highest order of the best mitzvah? If the idea is just to increase, then day 2, you've increased. Whereas if the idea is to indicate the amount of days that have passed, light 4 candles. So you see a practical difference in the reasoning for how you would understand Shamai and Hillel. Again, more in depth of all of this, both in the Hasidic level and the halachic level, in the class that the Rabbi gave yesterday. Okay, one more line from the Gemara, and then we'll continue tomorrow. Amar Rabbi Bar Chana, Rabbi son of Bar Chana said, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yochanan, Shnei Zakenim hoy b'Tzidon. There were 2 elders who were living in the town of Sidon. Echad osek b'Shamai. One did like Shamai. 2 elders, as in obviously they were respectable people, both with history, etc. One did like Shamai. Echad osek b'Hillel, Hillel. One did like Hillel. Zednai some Talmud Varav connected party achag. And one, the one who followed Shamai, argued that the reason why I'm doing this is because we're corresponding to the decreasing number of the oxen offered in the temple during Sukkot. And the other one who followed Hillel gave the reason for his practice, because in holiness we always increase rather than decrease. So Rabbi Yochanan is substantiating 2 things. First of all, substantiating that even way after Shammai and Hillel were no longer around, the dispute still endured. In fact, the Gemara says elsewhere, in the Yerushalmi, it's even worse description of the disputes that got between the people who followed Hillel and people who followed Shammai, until a heavenly voice came out and declared in favor of Hillel. The Gemara doesn't say that specifically about the Chanukah story, but in general about Shammai and Hillel. And one could imagine Chanukah would have been part of this dispute. That's the first thing we're learning here, that the dispute between Shammai and Hillel lasted for a long time. And number 2, we're learning that the primary reason is not because of the days that have come and gone, but rather because we value increase, or do we value decrease? Inherently, not just to indicate the numbers. And he substantiates by telling us that he knows of 2 elders. One followed Shammai, one followed Hillel, and the one who followed Shammai declared that his reasoning is because I'm following the oxen that decreased in the temple. And the one who followed Hillel, he declared that he's doing this because, as a principle, one should always increase in holiness. Okay, we stop over here, and God willing, tomorrow we get to more halachas related to lighting of the menorah. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Find out why Chabad lights in the doorway.
Yeah, we'll find out tomorrow, God willing, yeah.